I think probably a similar challenge to what New Zealand posed. Obviously, as you saw on Sunday, um, they're very big people. But then again, we got a few big blokes on our team, so they've already come out and said that they're going to fight fire with fire, and I guess we return serve by saying, I guess bring it on. It's a final. It's one of those things you have to front up to, and it's one of their biggest assets. So something that we've been working on. But you know, like Elliot's mentioned, they've got many different threats just as well as their forward pack.
Billy, it's obviously sad to lose Willie, but you know Ben really well. What do you expect him to add to the group?
Not much chat. But he's very fit, like Eddie's mentioned. He's quite calm. He's quite calm. Like I said, he doesn't talk too much, but he just gets on with his job, and I guess that's what we want from our nines. Just get through their work, as well as everyone else.
Question for Elliot. You talked about Willie Lowe. There's also Patrick Clark or Salo playing jump premiership. Is there an advantage for South Africa or for you?
I think when you get into these games, obviously you're not going to be thinking about that. It's kind of doing the process of what it is. So it's good to play against people like that, and obviously good for us to speak to the likes of Curry and people that have played with Faf before. So yeah, it gives us a little insight, and it probably gives them an insight to us as well.
Yes. Do you think that South Africa is a different team with Justin Colby inside? Will it change something in the tactical approach if he plays, such as the kicking game, for example?
Oh yeah, I mean, you've seen over the last, especially I played against him in Europe a couple of times. He's a good player with very good feet. So he's one of their X Factor players. So they'll look to get him the ball as much as possible. I don't think it will change their structure too much, but they'll probably just try to give him the ball in space a little bit more.
Really, John Mitchell used the word brutality and was talking about the contact area in the game and things like that. What exactly does that mean to you as a player?
I guess when coaches throw words like that at you, you kind of have to back it up. And you know, we've been challenged again to bring the same intensity this weekend. And like I said, they've got some big players on their team, none more so than probably their second rows and Dwayne. So those guys are great players, and it's a challenge for us up front to give people like Elliot and everyone else around him that time and space with the ball to do what they do.
Sorry. You've spoken to us during the course of the tournament about trying to find the right balance in your game, about being direct sometimes and the use of footwork. Is this a game that needs footwork from you, or is it a game that needs you to be straight and physical and in their face?
I think just whatever the situation needs, and that's what I'm going to do. If I'm up against 2 or 3 players, then I'll probably try and run away from them. And if I'm one-on-one, then I'll have a dig. But you know, it's what the situation presents. If it's on, it's on. If it's not, then try and play some smart rugby just as well as physical.
Aki? Question to both of you. There seems to be like a Japanese Suntory boys joining the training team. And how long have they been training, and what kind of effect has been with their presence?
I think 3-4 weeks now, probably. It's just been good because we've had a few niggles and things. It's good to have a full 15 to train against, and I think Genki's been our boy, really. He's the man. Yeah, he's been with us probably the most amount of time. Yeah, but you can just see how excited they are to come and train, and it's slightly different as well, training against people that you don't train against every day. So yeah, it makes you concentrate probably a little bit more in training, definitely.
Oh, like Elliot said, it's nice to have different people and different energy levels. Obviously, we've had a few bumps and knocks, but you know, to have people like Genki in and not just help with training, but the emotions of the group has been great. And yeah, we've name dropped him enough, I think, but he's a good lad.
Billy, can I ask about Owen's development as a leader? It seemed on Saturday that he stepped up even more, the hacker and playing
think with Faz, the biggest thing is just from what I've seen, from what I've my experiences with him was, I guess, the calmness he's brought into his game. You know, you can probably hear him on the mic, the ref mic, shouting all the time. But when there's a break in play, we get a different guy, and he's very calming influence on everyone around him. But also, you know, we trust him to go to the refs, and we leave him with that. But also in terms of leaders around him, they've been great just as well as Faz has, and they've helped him loads. People like Elliot, I guess my brother and Mara and all those boys, adding their own influence, I guess, to the leadership group. And it's a group thing. Everyone else just goes about their job and, you know, trying to be brutal and flying to whatever needs to be flown into.
Billy, can you just describe what the impact, the effect of a big shot has on the rest of the teams? I know 2016, the Haskell tackle on Pocock seemed to set a tone. Now you've got Underhill and Curry and Marrow driving All Blacks backwards. What does that do to the psychology of the rest of the team?
Yeah, it's something you probably can't measure, but I think the best way to explain it, it's quite contagious. I guess, like you said, it shows everyone that it can be done. So everyone else just tries to follow in the slipstreams of, like you said, Unders, Curry, Marrow, and it's very easy when you see it. You know, a lot of people talk about it. Like we said, it's easy to say and sit here and say we want to be brutal, but you have to back those words up, and those guys are probably the best at leading that area.
And as you said, the Springboks are big men. Is it possible to do that to them in the way that you did it to Kieran Reid and Jordan Barrett?
We're going to try. I guess that's all we can do.
Billy, are you expecting the South Africans to be more physically imposing than the All Blacks?
Is that your question?
No.
No, look, the All Blacks have been the best in the world for forever, and that physicality has helped them get to that stage, and we've set out wanting to be the best in the world, and we've got to back up what we did last week. It can't just be a fluke, and I think the challenge has been laid out by South Africa, and as you saw them taking Japan apart and Wales, the challenge is going to be up front, and so we're going to have to be there, both mentally and physically.
Do you see yourself having an individual battle against Dwayne Vermaelen?
I've played against him a few times, and he's got up the last few times. So personally, I'm going to try my best to win that little battle, so to speak. And hopefully that'll help the team.
Dan?
Billy, you might have seen this week the rush for tickets for the final. How important is it for you that loyal England fans get to watch this game and aren't ripped off by other people with tickets trying to get thousands of pounds for them?
Look, I think those things are out of our control. You say there the tickets, the issue. I've got a massive family, so I'm dealing with it firsthand. But you know, our focus is on the final and how we can best challenge South Africa and try and win the game.
How many of your family are coming and how many haven't got tickets?
Family's quite a broad statement. I'm not sure. Like I said 2 weeks ago, my brother deals with it. I feel sorry for him sometimes, but like I said, he's the admin point. So if you want tickets, just ask my brother.
At the back?
Question for both of you. Our top coach is Eddie. How is he with you, with his players?
Yeah, I mean, he's been amazing over the last 3-4 years. He's been coaching us. I think you always get honesty from Eddie. You know exactly where you stand, and he's played and he's coached against so many teams. He knows exactly, come Monday morning, how we're going to beat the team on the weekend, and we all buy into that. And it's worked so far in the tournament, and hopefully we can do it again this Saturday.
Right, we're going to have last 4 questions. We've got 1 in the corner, 2, 3 at the back, 4 there.
Billy,
Four.
Yeah.
This is the finish line, the final. How does that affect your mindset and in terms of going out and putting your body on the line? Because you know this is the last stage, so what happens after doesn't matter so much, and just the size of the opportunity in front of you guys as well.
We've got a full season after this. Look, we obviously want to play our best. Like Eddie said, we want to peak right at the end of the tournament, not at the start. And you know, South Africa is our next biggest challenge. Obviously, our goal was always to be number one, so we're just going to try and prepare as well as we can. You know, tomorrow's a massive session for us. We always put massive emphasis on that session to prepare us as well as possible for the weekend, and it's going to be the same again. So hopefully Genki and his boys bring their A game tomorrow.
Two.
Yeah, Billy, just on the topic of family, how important a role do they have to play this week so that you guys can kind of don't get too stuck in your own heads and play the final before Saturday?
Oh, they're massive, but I also think that they can be a distraction as well. You know, like I said, the tickets, trying to give you pointers on how to play rugby. You know, my auntie's always great for that. But, you know, their support is kind of very important to us, but I guess all we need at the moment. You know, my auntie's trying to tell me how I play number 8 and things to my brother as well. So as good as it is to have them, they can be a distraction. So like I said, we're trying to lock in on Saturday and see how we can come out firing again.
Jonathan?
Elliot, Mr. Wilkins, your former director of rugby at school, has been talking about your days there, competitive, like a bit of a laugh, laugh and a joke. Give us a sense of what it is now on the eve of Rugby World Cup, of those early days playing rugby, you know, at school and also club rugby as well at Beckenham.
Yeah, I mean, you always look back on that. I think from the start of the process, when we got together, it's been about our grassroots clubs and where we've come from and where we've played at, and it goes a massive amount towards where I am today, definitely. And I think when I started at 5 years old at Beckenham Rugby Club, and I probably didn't think I'd be here now, but there's been some great coaches and great teams along the way, and it's all played its part.
Okay, last question, Chris.
Billy, you mentioned Mune. Were you not as good a player then when you played him, or do you do things wrong you want to put right? Because it's obviously stuck in your memory, isn't it?
No, you just play better. And you guys brought him up, not me. So, you know, it's something that I think about, trying to help my team as much as possible. And I guess he comes into that equation because he's such a big player for them. You know, we played them in the summer, not this year, but last summer, and he was monumental in getting them those 2 victories. You know, so not just myself, but we got to try and negate his influence on the game, and not just him, but everyone else around him. You know, the Pollards of this world and Steph Detroit. So they got massive threats across the board.